get into spectator mode as well.
That'd be clever.
Good evening everyone and welcome to League of Europe. We are here for Season 4, it is Division 1, it is round 9 of the Championship as we take in the home Grand Prix, the home of British Motorsport, and it's of course the British Grand Prix from Silverstone. My name is James Head, going to be taking you through the stream as your lead commentator here tonight. And it won't be a stream without him. Joining me in the commentary box, it's the fantastic, it's the lovely Mr. Daniel Field. Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, and thank you for that lovely introduction there. Hello everyone, cannot wait for the British Grand Prix, a favourite track to many, and of course the home of the first ever Formula 1 official Grand Prix, so it's going to be a great one tonight.
It is going to be a fantastic race tonight, and as you have said, it would have been it has been the 70th anniversary of Formula 1, and the first ever Grand Prix, of course, was held here in Britain all the way back before I and Dan were born. And that was in 1950, of course. And if anybody was around to remember that, then well done. That's all I can say. Montana leads the way in the championship after a stunning 2 wins from Canada and Austria. He took the win with being COVID-19 positive. I've just checked in the lobby. He is here tonight as well on 155 points. Now, Alphatrix is in second. He would have been in front by he would have been a point behind Montana, but because of a 4-place grid penalty that he picked up because of slowing under the safety car, Alphatrix is in second, and he is on 149 points coming into tonight, but they're still a class above the rest, with D. Daniel in third on 56 points. Campbell and Verstappen, both KVR guys, 53 points tied for fourth. Killer Blue in sixth on 39, his best result of the season, of course, last time out in Austria, finishing second. Toxic in seventh on 36 points. He's got his Wi-Fi working, which is good to see. Spine and Rocco in 8th and 9th on 35 points, so they're tied for 8th. Bolin in 10th on 30. Looking down the rest of the field as well, Cohen on 27, Neo on 26, just Asas on 24, Larkin on 23, Gary on 22, Suku also on 22, Dropier on 21, he'll be back next week. Baki in 18th on 17. Josh and Schiaparelli. Good to see Schiaparelli back again after a string of DNFs from last time out in Canada and Austria. They are tied on 19th on 15 points. Kuka Games on 9 and Dakar on 8 points. But that big talking point, Alphatrix getting a 4-place grid penalty, 10 licence points to his licence here within League of Europe. I think that puts him, 2 or 3 points away from a qualifying ban, perhaps. So Montana leading, surely once again the advantage is with him.
Yeah, he's really found his momentum. He went a couple of races without a win. He won in round number 3, then he didn't win until round number 7 in Canada, but now 2 wins in a row. He seems to be on a little bit of a streak. Alphatrix is beginning to struggle. He hasn't seen the podium since Azerbaijan, so he really does have to find his rhythm back today. And what track better than Britain to do it, of course. So hopefully the Williams man can get back in that fight and get closer to Montana, but they're almost inseparable at this point.
Just to give you a comparison as well to what happened last season in Season 3, I've gone back in the archives to have a look at what the standings were looking like. Louis Welsh, now I think BDG Louis, he won the race in Britain last season. Schiaparelli finished second, then part of VRT, now part of FRL, and in third was Cantera, who has sadly left us in League of Europe. Alphatrix did not start that race. Montana finished 5th. So that was a big talking point in terms of that. But Alphatrix here tonight, Montana here tonight. It should be quite an interesting race. So go through the constructor standings as well. And it is, as I get my iPad up, Alfa Romeo in first on 190 points, with Williams 2 points behind in second on 188. a mountain to climb for the rest, I think, with AlphaTauri in third on 89, Ferrari in fourth on 78, with Mercedes in fifth on 75, McLaren in sixth on 48, with Haas in seventh on 35, Renault is in eighth on 34, BWT Racing Point are in 10th, are in 9th on 28 points, and Red Bull in 10th on 26 points. And again, quite close in the constructors' standings between Alfa Romeo and Williams. The two main teams, with Montana and Alphatrix, of course, running in both of those teams, along with Spine and Alphatrix's teammate, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have a look back on the driver lineup because I forgot. It is Killer Blue. Killer Blue not here tonight, I don't think, but all to play for in the constructors as well.
Yeah, only 2 points separating the top, and then a huge gap back further down to AlphaTauri, of course, 99 points separating the second place team of Williams and the third place team of AlphaTauri. But they lost a couple of points, Williams last time out, of course, with Alphatrix's place penalty. They would have actually scored more than the Alfa Romeo team, if I'm not mistaken. That is just off the top of my head. But Killer Blue did get a podium last week. He managed to pick up second after an incredible strategy call, so that did help them in that regard. But Alfa Romeo and Williams, much like Alphatrix and Montana, they are tight-knit at the top.
Really tight-knit at the top. And of course you say Killer Blue finished second last time out in Austria. My understanding is he is not racing here tonight. He is doing a master's degree currently at university. I won't say which one because you never know, he might end up with a COVID-19 outbreak there. But we wish Killer Blue, obviously. I think his university Wi-Fi is not strong enough for him to join the lobby, let alone race here tonight. But we'll hope to see him, hopefully back next week. You never know, he might join with, I think we are running slightly behind schedule. We're just waiting on another driver to join us. It might be Killer Blue, the one that is going to be joining. But let's take a look then at this track in question. 18 turns await these drivers, and of course, Silverstone used to run down towards turn 9 where Copse currently is. That was the old turn 1. It got redone out through 2008-2009. The first race in its current format I think was held in 2010, and since that reformation out on track, I think it's provided a lot more opportunity for overtaking for these guys as opposed to the old layout.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's so many places where you can make a move. What comes to mind for me is Brooklands, and then Stowe, of course, at the end of the DRS straights. And then you can also find a more opportunistic place, like Village maybe, if you get a good run through the first corner, you can go later on the brakes and overtake there. So it's a really great track layout, and one favoured by many drivers. You're spending so much of the lap at full throttle, of course, so it is a really high-speed circuit, low downforce, so you want to have as much top speed as you can.
Yeah, you do need a lot of top speed and a lot of stable setups, I think, is what these guys are going to be running. I think we are running a little bit behind schedule. We're just waiting on one of the guys to join. But just looking at the comments section, there is support already in the comments section, which I'm glad to see. Dan, there is support for D. Daniel out on track, currently third in the standings coming into tonight. VR46, I think he's a supporter, I think, of Suku, so Suku gets some support as well. And Matthias saying bonjour. That is his traditional greeting, I think, within the comment section. So bonjour back to you, Mr. Matthias. And we have to fill in as well on the two new drivers. And Matthias is one of them, Matt TU40, who drove with us last season in League of Europe Division 1. But also a man that is about to wrap up the TTML Division 2 title, M Short. And M Short, for me, might hold a very good chance of actually picking up a really good result. He came from Division 2, same with Matthias as well. They're back in the deep end of Division 1. What a race to make your debut and to try and make an impact.
Absolutely, I do have high hopes for the two of these guys. Running in the McLaren car tonight is Matthias, and then the Racing Point car goes to M Short. I believe that we are getting ready to go though. 14 drivers out of the 19 are readied up, so we are not going to have a full grid tonight, which we've seen so often in League of Europe, but I don't think that is going to harm the racing at all.
Yeah, Killer Blue needing a couple of minutes. He's on his way, so don't ready up, but he is on his way. He might join within qualifying, so that'll be good to see. But here we go, and Gary said, Killer Blue's internet is dodgy. Yes, he's in a university residence at the minute, so that is probably why everyone has been put in lockdown. They're consuming up all the Wi-Fi, and that's why Killer Blue can't join. That's my theory on things anyways. But we get here into Britain, 18 turns await these drivers, around an 18-minute qualifying session. And coming into tonight, we've got a really good chance, I think, of possibly having one of the races of the season. Now, if you thought Azerbaijan and Canada and last time out in Austria were good, Britain usually provides the goods, and I think we will see the same here tonight.
Oh yeah, they've been getting better and better as the weeks have gone on. Ever since we actually started being a commentary duo back in Spain, I think they've all just suddenly gotten better. It must be my my little charm that I've casted over the division.
It is definitely your charm. Honestly, if we can get V8 Field into every single race this season, and for the rest of next season as well, if we run a second season of F1 2020, we're going to have the best race. We're going to be calling every race we commentate on race of the season candidates. It is going to be that close. And obviously with the addition of the two new Division 2 drivers, M. Short and Matthias, that just spices up things even more. But we are now into qualifying, already 20 seconds in, and it seems we're going to get the first cars out on track. If you do hear me croak, by the way, I have got a really bad sore throat and I've got swollen tonsils. So I'm trying to do my best to commentate for you guys, but V8 Field, he might have to take over from me for at some points. But Montana, once again, has run the race out of the pit lane.
Sometimes I doubt he even puts on a setup just to be the first man out on circuit. He does it every single week.
He does do it every single week, and we come through the loop section now. We'll try and talk you through every single corner out on track. But Montana has had a good record around here. He finished 5th last season. I think he won in Britain the season before in Season 2, my first season within League of Europe. So Montana, how do you rate his chances coming into tonight? Because Alphatrix is only 5 points behind him. Montana now leads the championship. He needs to reclaim, I think, his old form once again from to beat Alphatrix.
Oh yeah, well he's already set himself out on that mission. He's doing really well so far this season, both of them with 4 wins each, so it's going to be a break the deadlock if those two can have a scrap today. But Montana has really got some good form going on him. He had got the full maximum 26 points in Canada, and then in Austria last week he also took the win whilst even being positive for COVID-19, which I really hope he is recovering well from all the best towards Montana. But he's just coming through Stowe right now, so I believe he's going to start his lap. He's going to have a completely clear track ahead of him, won't have to deal with any of the drivers on an outlap or anything, so this will be a really good run from the Alfa Romeo driver.
Let's ride on board with him then. Montana comes through the final corner. The yellow flag's in Sector 3. Don't worry about that because it's just drivers preparing for their lap times. Montana now through Abbey and then into Farm through turns 1 and 2. And then into the village section, coming up through 3. And then into the loop at turn 4. Looking very nice through turn 3. And now into the loop at turn 4. Then through Aintree at turn 5. Onto the Wellington Straight, where of course the international version of this track used for the British touring cars last week intersects with the Grand Prix circuit. This is why we call it Wellington Straight. 26.7 already for Montana. Quite overcast as he comes now through Brooklands and then into Luffield. Runs out wide into Luffield, trying to prioritise the traction going through the corner. Beautifully done. And now he comes through Woodcut, which was the final corner out on track in 2008. No longer the case. It's halfway through the lap now. As we come down towards the old turn 1 at Copse, you take this flat out 190 mile an hour. Carried through there by Montana, looking very good as he now approaches Maggots and Beckett, through Maggots and then in towards Beckett, and then through Chapel and onto the Hangar Straight. This is looking like a real neato lap from Montana. 101 flat through the middle sector. This is rapid currently from Montana as he now comes down in towards Stowe at turn 14, at turn 15 I should say, and then now through Vale in towards Club, which will be the next couple of corners out on track. Through 16 and 17 goes Montana. This is looking like a really nice lap for Montana, and I think we're going to break into the 24s already. 24 flat from Montana, and remember last season I think we were setting lap times like 26s. So Montana goes on top, beats his teammate by 0.3 of a second. Beat that.
Well, they're all filing in their laps and they're all going low 124s. But Montana, class above the rest, already about 2 tenths clear of Daniel at the moment. Just trying to find where Alphatrix is on the run, and there he is, and he's going quicker than Montana. Neo also getting to 1 minute 24 flats, and M Short, what an entrance into Division 1 here.
M Short goes second, and split between Alphatrix and Montana. I did say he was quick. I didn't think he'd be that quick early on in the session, so M Short really put in his stake for a pole position here tonight. It's good to see a Division 2 driver now coming up into Division 1 doing so well. But Alphatrix has taken it. Look at the top 4. I mean, the whole field are covered by 0.6 of a second, with Gary just coming in there in 16th. But the top 4 are separated by 0.06 of a second. There's literally no room for error.
It's just every single week they do this to us. They get so close to each other, and I absolutely love it. We don't see this in real F1. It's the two Mercedes being about 1.5 seconds clear of anyone else. But in League of Europe Division 1, they are pretty much one error, one little millimetre going wide. If you miss the apex by about a picometre, then you can probably be put from 1st to 4th. It is incredible how close they are.
Backy on a lap. He was the centre of controversy actually in Canada to pick up a qualifying ban last time out in Austria. 101.3 through the middle sector, so he's 0.3 off Montana's middle sector. So just in comparison, Montana's had a 101 flat. So remember that through the session. That's the comparison we're going to take. There's a Renault of Neo, who's currently in 4th going into the pit lane there. Backy now through the final 2 corners, through Vale and into Club. And now through turn 18, out on track, Backy will slot himself in to 13th position and goals 7 thousandths quicker than Suku. So the 2 drivers for Red Bull and Ferrari, 13th and 14th. Matthias is also on a lap. I think, though, he might be coming into the pit lane. Not sure if he hasn't got, he definitely hasn't got any damage, but he might prepare up for another lap. So it'll be very interesting to see if he dives it into the pit lane, which he is going to do. So everyone back into the pit lane, Backy the only one out on track. It's Alphatrix who's taken it so far, from M Short in 2nd, Montana in 3rd. What a qualifying session so far.
Absolutely, 17 drivers have put in a lap right now. I didn't see what happened to Matthias, but Dakar lost it through Cops. I saw on the mini-map. He might have got damage from that, so he would have had to come back into the pit lane and then fix up that, or just strap on a new set of tyres. So he'll want to be quick to put in a lap. Of course, it's a long run around here, so you can't get as many laps in as you would around a track like Austria, so they do have to be quick with that. Got a couple of guys coming out for an outlap though. I believe the furthest one up on an outlap right now is Toxic right now. He's had a good start to the season, but he's not been there in the last couple of races. I haven't really seen him challenging for any strong positions.
Yeah, Toxic's had a little bit of hint of inconsistency, I think, to be honest, this season. Looking through his results, he had a very good start to the season. He finished 4th and 5th in both Australia and Bahrain reverse. So Bahrain he finished 4th, Australia he finished 5th. But since then he's gone a little bit downhill. Vietnam and Netherlands he picked up points. Spain he finished but didn't pick up any points. And then has had 2 DNFs and he didn't start last time out. So that is why he was 3rd in the standings going in towards that the Spanish Grand Prix. And I think he came out of that still in 3rd. But those 2 DNFs have really set him back. So he's got to be hoping to try and set a better lap. And hopefully his Virgin Media Wi-Fi will hold throughout this qualifying session.
Well, Virgin Media have been known for their outages in recent weeks. So hopefully that doesn't affect him tonight. We are keeping our fingers crossed here, but he's just coming through Stowen now up towards the chicane, preparing for his laps. We might as well go along with him on this run. Just coming through Club Corner right now and onto his lap. What can Toxic do? He's in 16th right now. Can he find time though?
Continue on.
Oh, I thought you were going to take the lap. Right, okay, we're coming through Village right now. A big lock-up into the right-hander and now up towards the loop set. A wide entry, nip it onto the apex and then run it out wide for the exit and up towards what straight is this? Wellington Straight, that is it. And up towards Brooklands, braking just at the 50-metre board, actually. I think I saw maybe at the 75 and up towards this is Luffield. You want to get it not wide on the entry there, and then run it deep on the apex and up through Woodcote now, keep it nipping up there and up towards the flat out corner that you can do in these cars. Albert Copse, beautiful corner, and he has nailed exactly about 300 kilometers per hour, and now towards Maggot and Beckett, the famous complex, and up towards Chapel where Verstappen went around the outside of Rosberg in 2016. This looks like a nice run from him. He's almost 3/10 up on his lap. This could see him entering into the top 10, which he hasn't really seen for the last couple of races now, and up towards Stowe corner now, nice and tight on the apex, running it out wide. Used to be able to run it completely off the track on the last game, but you can't do it anymore. And now up towards the Vale chicane, and now towards Club. Can Toxic get up into the top 7? We'll see right here. There it is, 9th position for the AlphaTauri driver. Great lap from him.
Montana invalidated as Daniel breaks into the 23s. So as the track evolves and as the sun comes out, Daniel goes quickest by nearly a 10.5 actually. So a very good lap. Spine has just jumped into second as well. Alphatrix is on a lap. Let's ride on board with him as he comes now through Maggots and Beckett. There'll be plenty of other moves up and down the field, I think, as you see on the left-hand side. But we'll ride on board with Alphatrix coming now through Chapel and onto the Hangar Straight. 1 minute, 0.8 through the middle sector from Alphatrix. He is on an absolute alarming lap. He's 2/10 up already. So he's going to go theoretically ahead of Daniel if Vale is clean enough. And he has gone through Vale clean enough. Chapelletti goes second at the same time as Daniel. Fantastic stuff. The Dutchman and the German go side by side, but now Alphatrix across the line. Oh, he just asserts his dominance completely. 23.6. He is nearly 3/10 of a second ahead of everyone else. And Alphatrix has done it again.
He does it every single week. Verstappen going up into 4th. From about 2nd to 4th, they are separated by hardly anything. That's about 11 milliseconds separating 2nd and 4th. So crazy gaps once again, but Alphatrix has just said, see you later, I'm going to push on this lap for real this time. And he has just gone almost 2.25 tenths up on Daniel in second right now. Where's Montana? He's on an out lap, so I'd expect him to begin his lap in the next couple of minutes. Probably they're going to start thinking about their final run. They've only got 7 minutes left, just under that, of qualifying left, so they have got time to go back into the pits and get back out. But definitely, we are coming towards the end, and of course the climax of qualifying.
Yeah, we just rode on board with Gary there. He did improve on his time, 1:24.441. He's only 1,000th off Backy out on track. So good luck there by Gary, puts him 17th. And I will mention now that it was Gary's birthday yesterday. It was Gary's birthday yesterday, so happy belated birthday to Gary, as I think Neil was just jumped up into 6th position there ahead of Bolin. So good luck there from him as Gary comes through Copse. Yeah. But happy belated birthday. I mean, he was in Thursday's TTML Division 2 race and he DNF'd within the first 2 laps. So what a birthday present that was for him.
Well, hopefully he can get a good result here today, and then it all will be well, and he won't be thinking about that TTML race any longer.
Montana on a lap as he comes through Abbey and Farm. Did you want to say something there, by the way? Or did I just cut you off?
Oh no, so you didn't cut me off.
I didn't cut you off. I thought you were going to say something, and then oh goodness me. Anyways, Montana coming through entry and now onto the Wellington Straight. Let's see if he can try and respond to Alphatrix's time. He's 4/10 off that currently, and he's only 1,000th up coming through the first sector. He can find the time around the rest of the lap, of course, but now runs wide through Luffield. Takes second gear through there actually, up straight into 4th to try and prioritise the traction through the corner. And Montana beginning to fly through Woodcote. And now on the run down towards Copse. Got to be around a 43.8 underneath that Fanatec sign, which he was. And 190 mile an hour gain once again through Copse. As now he runs through Maggots and Beckett. 5 minutes to go in qualifying, so Montana will have to lay it all on the line and then get another lap in after this. Flies through, runs wide onto the grass through Chapel. He's 700s up and he's purple actually through the middle sector. I think that's Matthias on an out lap behind him out on track. There's also a Ferrari out on track, which I do believe is Suku looking down. And Montana now coming through Vale in towards Club. through 16 and 17, through the chicane, and that through Club, and Montana has to lay it all on the line in this final sector. Across the line, he goes 6th, he goes 3,000ths off M Short, so very similar profile actually. Neo, Bolin and Spine, by the way, just behind, are separated by 1,000th between 3 drivers.
Oh, well, we've seen Chapelin do the same time. We've also seen Neo and Bolin do the same time. I'm just trying to look, just in case that we haven't got any more of that throughout the grid. Oh, we don't, but how are they doing this every single week?
It's unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable. Answers on a postcard, please. Be right on board with Matthias coming through the first sector. Now, he hasn't set a lap time just yet, so he won't be up on anybody's time because he hasn't set a lap. But he's through Luffield in the McLaren. Oh, getting a little bit sideways there. And of course, he is actually part of the Sidebacks Motorworks team, I do believe still. So Matthias will be hoping for a good impact here tonight. 180 mile an hour, and that's not the sort of impact he would have had in mind. He runs wide through Stowe, through Copse even, and sadly for him, he's still valid actually on that lap. I thought he would have been invalid already, but Matthias now I think has to admit defeat. He'll have to come back into the pit lane with 3 minutes to go. Has he got enough time actually to set another lap time in? I think it'll be quite tight.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll go for another run here, but I can't remember who it was who said this, but if you don't walk back into the pits holding your steering wheel, obviously it's about a crash, but if you don't make mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. So Matthias really is going for it here. Unfortunately, not have enough time, which is really going to hamper him throughout the race, considering the alternate strategy isn't as powerful around this circuit. So only time will tell really as to whether he can get back out onto the circuit and then put in a lap time.
The final laps of qualifying are about to begin, and we are on board with D. Daniel, of all people, in second position out on track, coming into this final third, really, of qualifying, as now D. Daniel comes through the final corner, comes across the line to start off on his lap. Let's see how the Ferrari man can do. He's got to find 2.5 tenths of a second to challenge Alphatrix. Lovely through Abbey and Farm, and now into the village section, coming through turn 3, famously where Hamilton got tapped by Vettel, by Raikkonen, remember, in 2018, and Vettel went on to win that. Daniel now coming through Aintree, through turn 5, and now onto the Wellington Straight. He takes the centre line, running down the Wellington Straight. Let's see what he's like through the first sector. It's not lightning quick, he's 7,000th up, 26.6. through the first sector, so he is green on his time, but he can improve on his lap. He ups it through 4th gear, now tries to prioritise again the exit of the corner, now comes through Woodcut at turn 8, and then on the run down towards Copse at turn 9, down the old pit straight. Looking like a good lap so far from D. Daniels, as long as he doesn't run wide or anything here. Lovely, nice and clean, coming through Copse, and now through Maggots and Beckett, through 10, 11, 12, and then 13. They fly actually very quick around here in Silverstone, through 10.14 at Chapel, and now he's 700ths up on his time. He's got to find another 2 tenths of a second to challenge Alphatrix, but now D. Daniel running down in towards Stowe, trying to prioritise, gets caught on the curb slightly, might just hamper his run, coming in towards Vale, but he's got that fine, now in towards Club, through 16 and 17, has to lay it all on the line now. This is his chance, this is his opportunity to take Alphatrix's pole, cross the line. He doesn't improve, well, he does improve, but he doesn't improve on his time that much, 300ths of a second, and unfortunately for D. Daniel, that is his qualifying, I think, over and done with. We've got Backy on a lap as well. Let's see what the Red Bull man can do as he flies through the final 2 corners out on track. Alphatrix still out in front, D. Daniel second. Backy goes, doesn't improve. Larkin retires, I think, coming into the pit lane. Anybody else improving?
Right now, I wasn't really seeing anyone on a run at the moment, but I believe that Cohen is on a lap right now, just coming through the middle sector. And the final sector, and I think this is going to be really close for Matthias, just coming through the final corner. He's got 10 seconds to do it, and he's just started a lap. That was almost perfectly timed for him, really. But we got his teammate Cohen just coming through the final couple of corners right now, crossing the line, 10th fastest for him. At least enough time for the McLaren man, and I believe that next to cross the line will be Bolin. He doesn't improve.
Campbell does, though. He goes ahead of Rocco. He goes 11th position as well. Toxic has invalidated on a lap and has spun coming through the final corner. So Alphatrix has, Toxic has spun. Alphatrix, I do believe, is on a lap. He's coming down the hanger straight, I do believe. He's a 10th down on his lap, so he's got to try and improve, but I don't think he needs that much of an improvement, to be honest, to take pole position. Toxic across the line has now completed his qualifying. Alphatrix now around the final couple of corners. I think we've got Neo and M Short just in behind as well, out on track. Alphatrix towards the line will not improve. Let's see what the others are doing. M Short is 200th up, coming around the final corner. Neo goes second. M Short responds, goes fifth. Where is Montana? He is down the hanger straight and he's a 10th and a half up, so he could go second potentially with this lap. We see Daco, I think, go 14th on lap as well. Gary and Suko, the only two left out there, apart from Schiaparelli and D. Daniel, who I think are down on their lap times. Montana now through Vale, in towards Club through 16 and 17. Got a really late all on the line. Montana goes third. He's behind Neo and he's only 2 thousandths ahead of Schiaparelli. Good qualifying nonetheless from him. Matthias is invalid on a lap coming around the final corner. Not happy with that at all, and that is not the greatest debut from him at all. Back in Division 1, he's still starting down at 19th, but Alphatrix takes pole. Who else? Alphatrix takes it from Neo in second, Montana in third, Schiaparelli in fourth, a 10th and a half, separating the top four out on track. The front two rows of the grid very tight indeed, with D. Daniel in fifth, M Short in sixth, Verstappen a 1,000th off M Short in seventh, with Rocco in eighth, Bolin in ninth, Spine in 10th, 3.5 tenths separating the top 10. Cohen, Campbell, Suku, Toxic, Daka rounding off the top 15, Larkin, Baki and Gary. How on earth is this field 7.5 tenths separated for the 18 drivers that set a lap time? There's so many tight lap times, and in fact Campbell and Suku set the same lap time as well. Matthias the only one not to start, not to finish a lap, and he starts from the back of the grid. Oh, that was a good rundown, and we come now into the formation lap. Goodness knows what the weather here in Britain can hold sometimes. It's been absolutely pissing down all day, but it's not going to be pissing down out on track, it seems, because it is now time to get into the formation lap, and Alphatrix taking pole position. Advantage him in the championship?
Yeah, absolutely. His closest rival, of course, being Montana, ahead of him by only a couple of points, starting in about third position at the moment. So they're going to be right behind each other. Is going to be Montana. He's got the Williams car just in front of him. I'm kind of losing my way with words, but Alphatrix, if he can nail the start, then and he managed to get out the DRS range of the man in second place, which at the moment is Neo, but it is all about the start, so it might not be the same coming through the first couple of corners. We could see a huge incident, of course, Abbey being a tricky corner to actually run through turn number one. I do know that against the AI they tend to brake for the first corner for some reason when you can completely take it flat out, but nice and sunny. A couple of fluffy marshmallow clouds, but no threat of rain, I think, for this race.
Let's hope not. I've been informed, actually, on the stream, Iro Packer, who I think races in Division 4, there is rain in both Division 3 and Division 4. So if that whets your appetite, you can go and watch both of them streams live. Aidan Carter taking you through Division 3 and Division 4. I do believe it is Alt Maverick taking you through that one. And Matthias has said, "Fam, I don't think I'm suited for Division 1. That's what he said in the comments section. Make your own opinion of that up throughout the race. And he said also that he might lose the car a few times out on track. XL Hardy tuned into the comment section as well. Let's go Gary, M Short and Neo. All part of the same team, of course, XL Racing. Let's have a look, though, at the more important things, and that is, of course, the strategies. Exception rather than the rule further down the field, with Larkin and Matthias 16th and 19th. They're starting on a set of soft compound of tyres. Now, how long do these set of softs last from a relatively fresh batch? In fact, there's your answer. Predicted pit stop strategy comes out right on time. One stop lap 11 to 14, it seems, to go onto a set of mediums, and the same, I think, for a set of hard compound of tyres. I would imagine everyone would go onto a set of mediums, because committing onto a set of hards is like, yeah, I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but the hard compounded tyres I think the driver should avoid.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a softer medium race. Unless you get damage in the first couple of laps and you don't fancy pitting again, you can maybe go softer hard. But if you're on the mediums, you might as well do mediums to softs. There's no point in the strategy where you'd want to go onto the hard tyres, of course. But that is up to the drivers, as they all seem to have picked mediums outside the top 10 aside from Larkin and Matthias. I would expect that the pit stop window is actually correct for once on the game. It normally is wrong, but I believe it's right this time.
Top 3, quickly.
Right. I'm going to say Alphatrix, Montana, Schiaparelli.
Interesting top 3. We'll see if that comes right, of course, as the red lights will go up. Everyone now sinking back into the lobby for the 5 red lights to go out. At the home of British Motorsport, it is 5 red lights here at Silverstone. And it's lights out and away we go. Alphatrix gets a very good start. We've already got a bit of a desync on the graphics with Matthias jumping up. Look at D. Daniel threading through, trying to get through on Montana. Oh, there's a spin and D. Daniel's been sent round. I think that was Schiaparelli going for a move on him. They could both come into contact. Montana and Neo are not involved in that at all. But Alphatrix leads, Neo second, Montana in third, Schiaparelli in fourth. Rocco trying to go around the outside of M Short. This is the 5th position. Everyone ghosted. It will still cause a little bit of pain for these drivers. Matthias is one of the ones that has jumped up a couple of positions from the start, but running through the first sector, everyone looks quite clean, and we see the graphics now fix themselves as Alphatrix leads, Neo second, Montana hassling the back of the German, the XL man under pressure for Montana, Larkin and Spine are going side by side further down the field. This is now through Woodcut and Larkin on the inside line, Spine on the outside line, who started further up, I do believe, and now Spine tried to go around the outside into Cops. Brilliant move, he can pull it off. Spine and Larkin are still side by side. They now come through towards Maggots and Beckett. It's going to be very bold, very brave, and in the end Spine decides to back off and Larkin is through and he's up into 10th position. Verstappen also hassling the back of Rocco, but towards the end of lap 1 Alphatrix does lead 4/10 of a second. No DRS of course until lap 3, as we still see Larkin and Spine pretty much going side by side now down in towards Stone. We see Suku and Gary on the inside line, Suku trying to go all the way around the outside. The predicted pit stop strategy changes. Suku already with a 3-second time penalty. Matthias's boxing has got nowhere to go at all. Suku gets the move done on Gary. A hectic first lap, but it's Alphatrix that does lead, and goodness me, take over before I lose my voice.
Well, a lot of desync going on throughout the field, but Bolin files into the pit lane. He got a bit of wing damage after a turn 1 incident. The other driver who got involved in one of those was D. Daniel. He's already found himself moving up a couple of positions. He's behind Daka right now on the soft tyres that he did do qualifying on, so he's got a lot of work to do, the Ferrari man. But Larkin now kind of on the back of Cohen, unless that is another desync issue, which I do believe it is, but he is right behind Campbell at the moment, and none of the intervals are showing up, so I can't see anyone actually getting close to anyone. Brilliant.
Absolutely fantastic work by Codemaster. Schiaparelli has picked up a 3-second time penalty on the exit of Luffield, so he has now picked up a 3-second time penalty. Larkin looks quite close to the back of Campbell, but as you say, these graphics are really posing a bit of a threat. Bolin has just came out the pit lane, so when he comes through the first sector, it will fix. As we see everyone fly through now, Maggots and Beck. It's really good to see out on track, and it is Alphatrix who does lead the way out on track, and I would say that's about 3.5 tenths, as Alphatrix has actually run out of ERS on this lap. Running down in towards down into Stowe. Has Alphatrix got a problem with his ERS? I think his ERS is not working. Alphatrix's ERS is not working at all here, and Neo is right on the back of him. This is potentially disastrous for Alphatrix, even though he did set the new fastest lap of the race, but it came back. Luckily, he hasn't got a problem.
Well, that was heart in mouth moment then if he did have an issue, and that could have been a detriment to his race. But Neo is right on the back of him. DS now enabled on lap number 3. That will invite him to get closer in on. I think Larkin might have had a spin somewhere. He's just losing a lot of positions as Spine and moving up ahead of him. Of course, one of the directors of League of Europe beginning to slip down the order just a tad, but no DRS for him. Of course, that is not going to help him down at the Wellington straight.
Larkin very close to the back, actually, of Toxic under the brakes. That was down in towards Brooklands, now through Luffield. And yeah, Larkin lost 2 positions. It looked like Spine might have been trying to force his way up the inside. Toxic got a good run as well. He is through. D. Daniel, by the way, is dropping down the field. He picked up a little bit of damage, I think, in that collision. No, actually, he hasn't. So he's made a mistake, I think, D. Daniel. He's down into 17th after that spin. Backy in 18th, Bolin in 19th. But it comes to show how much of a pit stop it is around here, as now Neo chases down Alphatrix for the lead of the race. And once again, Alphatrix maintaining the ZRS this time around. I think he tried to go for fastest lap attempt. Neo in second, Montana in third. Matthias looking quite close to the back of Gary. In fact, goes down the inside into Stowe. Brilliant move by Matthias on Gary, the former Division 2 champion of last season, against a Division 2 driver from Division 2 this season, up and coming. Matthias was through on a set of softs, and he's through and he's up to 14th. And now Gary is under pressure from Dakar.
Yeah, it was a great move from Matthias there, really proving his worth. He says he wasn't worth Division 1, but I think I'm going to have to disagree with him on that one. Of course, what a move.
He might not be. Thought Gary was going to go around the outside of him there into Village, but he doesn't. He tried to give him the move, but he stays in 14th position for now. Everyone's stuck in a big DRS train. D. Daniel is right on the back of Dakar. They fly through side by side through Aintree. Renault against Ferrari. Ferrari's got the inside line. Used a little bit of overtake up to try and get the move done. Think Dakar might have to give way, but he doesn't. He runs wide through Brooklands. D. Daniel trying to go around all the way around the outside through Luffield. Brilliant battle between the Scotsman and the Dutchman. Remember, D. Daniel is third coming into the standings here tonight. Dakar, Division 2 commentator, and it's still side by side, really down in towards Cops, and D. Daniel gets ahead, and I think Dakar might have just backed out of that one to get the DRS down the Hangar Straight.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was Alonso Vettel 2014-esque. Pretty much the exact same overtake there from D. Daniel. What a well-worked move. But now Dakar beginning to struggle already. He's in the DRS of D. Daniel, but D. Daniel also has DRS on Gary up ahead, and that's pretty much going to nullify any advantage Dakar had on him. Now in through a Stowe corner, he does get close to the back of the Ferrari car, but he actually gets a worse off exit, and he can't capitalise on being so close to the Scarlet Red Ferrari car. He can't get by. He's going to have to stick in 17th position for the time being.
Yeah, D. Daniel just running wide there out of club as well, through 17 and then in through 18. Dakar trying to get a little bit closer, but I think, to be honest, this is a really good race beginning to develop out on track. 1 lap 5, Alphatrix does the Neo second, Montana in third. Everyone has really been nullified, I think, with this DRS train running down the straight. Neo was getting closer to the back as we ride on board with Montana, and Verstappen is looking quite close as well on Rocco. They're beginning to split. These front 7, I think, are now beginning to pull away from Cohen. Cohen, the fastest of the medium runners currently, but he's just beginning to try and slip out of that DRS range. Cohen, I think, needs to work with Verstappen at this point to try and get him a little bit closer and to get Campbell later on into the race. Certainly, as Verstappen, I think, trying to have a go down at Rocco, down in the Cops there.
He was just a little bit too far back to actually stick his nose in, but he definitely tried to make a move. He was certainly aggressive on entry there, and a little bit of a mistake from Neo into Hangar Straight, and that is actually going to lose him a bit of time to Alphatrix. He could have made a move on the Williams driver, but unfortunately he's just going to have to stick behind him for the time being. But no real overtakes going on right now. The fabled DRS train coming into effect, of course, it is very common around here, and that is shown right now, but I don't think that it's the end of any battles. We are definitely going to see some more spice thrown into the mix, and oh, Matthias, I've just watched him spin.
Oh no.
Club corner.
Oh, and I thought he was going to rejoin in track just in front of Backy. That was quite dangerous, to be honest, rejoining the track. I understand he wanted to try and get on with things, but Backy was nearly into the back of him, and that would have been a safety car, I think, definitely. But Matthias is on his merry way, and I don't think he's got any damage as a result of that.
No, he just kept it out of the barriers, which was lucky from him. It was just a spin across the grass. Call Matthias Grass Cutting Company, and you'll give it a 50% off if you give him a Division 1 drive for next season.
There we go. The Dutchies and League of Europe are now going to be putting him for that business, I think, now. Verstappen on the back of Rocco for 6th position. Rocco's really been quite exciting, I think, so far in this race. He's on the back of M. Shaw, so he's relatively new. He's doing best out of the newcomers. Rocco has pretty much been silent so far in this race, but he's doing enough to keep in this DRS train as Matthias picks up a 3-second time penalty. Rocco was really surprising me with his pace here tonight, I've got to be honest. He's in 6th, doing well. He's in this front group. What's not to like?
Yeah, if I was.
And in fact, Verstappen's in.
Oh,
Verstappen into the pit lane, and Matthias has spun, coming out of Chapel as well, but that is very early from Verstappen. Would have expected about lap 8, lap 9, to be honest, in terms of the soft runners coming in for a set of mediums, because they can last around 17, 18 laps around here. So Verstappen is going to try and go 1 lap further than what I would have predicted. Certainly, he's into the pits, medium set of tyres go on, and he's back out of the pit lane, and he'll be back in 17th position. Matthias sped into the pit lane. Not sure if he will retire from the race. In fact, he has, right on cue. He has retired into the race and gives up 7 laps in, which is unfortunate because, unlike TTML, the points don't go down to the top 19. If that was the case, I think Matthias probably would have stayed in the race. But Bolin now picks up into 18th. In the meantime, though, Alphatrix does lead. Neo in 2nd, and Neo is getting close enough to have a go at Alphatrix, but he's never close enough to pull off that move, and Montana is beginning to come into contention, I think.
Yeah, Montana's just been sticking behind the Renault car, just sticking in his DRS and slipstream, and been saving some of his DRS, but now he's just turning it up. They're pretty much equal, the two the men in 2nd and 3rd, but the Alphatrix has saved so much of it. Will Neo send it? No, he's just going to stick behind, and it is so difficult to make an overtake if you just haven't got a good exit, which he really seems to be struggling with. I think Verstappen came into the pits a bit early just so he could have an undercut on Rocco and maybe M Short up ahead of him, because he wasn't going to get by in the DRS train. So why not gamble and go for an undercut?
Not a bad strategy, to be honest. He's out in clear air. He'll be gaining on Backy as well in front of him. Not a bad strategy, that, I think, from Verstappen. And do you know what? If these guys continue on and they go on to that lap 11, 14 pit window, I could honestly see Verstappen leading this race by the end of this.
Oh yeah, definitely. But he will be struggling later on in the Grand Prix once his tyres begin to go off, and all the other drivers who pitted a bit later will be quicker than him, of course, with that fresher rubber. Not too much fresher, and they will all be struggling, but it will just be that little bit of a difference that can give the advantage to everyone else who stayed out later.
Matthias just coming into the comment section and saying he had no grip, no point continuing if I'm losing the rear into and out of every single corner. So that's unfortunate. Schiaparelli has just picked up an unfortunate 3-second time penalty there as well. But Matthias, I'm sure, will be back to his brilliant best, I'm sure, next week. Back to the old TFRL days, I hope. But Neo on the back of Alphatrix. This is the lead of the race, and again, he's closing in, but he's not getting close enough. You can see him just changing the mixture down to use up. M Short looking quite close to the back of Schiaparelli. Are we going to see any pit stops being made? Yes, Neo's in. Neo's in, and Schiaparelli, very late into the pit lane, is in also, and gets the car just about stopped into the pit lane. But some of the front runners are in. Larkin is in behind as well. I think these are the only 3 actually to continue on coming into the pit lane. So Neo, Schiaparelli and Larkin into the pit lane. Schiaparelli onto a set of softs. Will go on a set of medium compound of tyres to the end of the race. There is Neo as well, and Neo is also on to a set of medium compound of tyres and comes directly out in front of Schiaparelli out on track. I nearly lost my way there. Verstappen, though, round the final corner. Where is he going to come out in all of this? I think he's going to be well behind these guys, to be honest. Verstappen, yeah, he's going to be well out behind these guys. So Schiaparelli and Neo. Oh, Schiaparelli spun out the pit lane. Schiaparelli has heated up the rear tyres, I think, on exit of the pit lane, and that is him spinning out. I've never seen anybody spin out the pit lane before here at Silverstone, and Schiaparelli, his rotten bad luck. He finished 3rd a couple of weeks ago, but his rotten bad luck continues once again. Collective sigh. That's all we can do, I think. A collective sigh. So unfortunate for Schiaparelli, but he can continue on. That is more important. He can continue on, and he can still probably end himself up in a point-scoring position towards the end of this race. Leaders are in. Alphatrix and Montana are in. Montana got to get the car stopped. M Short nearly runs into the back of Montana, coming into the pit lane very close there. Cohen continues. Campbell continues. They're, I think, both on a set of medium compound of tyres, which they are. So they will now lead the race as we ride on board with M Short coming into the pit lane. M Short running very nicely in behind the likes of Montana and Alphatrix. And just sum up, actually, in a couple of words, how M Short's been doing in this race, because he's new to Division 1. He's in a very promising position just behind Montana. He's doing really well.
Yeah, he's putting in a sublime performance so far in Division 1 in this Grand Prix. He's right up to the back of the 2 championship leaders in this race, and I think that is enough to really help. And actually, Neo has just come out a little bit behind Alphatrix, so the undercut hasn't worked for him, but of course Chaparelli now being out of contention, the train gets smaller and smaller, but they have spaced out just a little bit, so the pressure is going to be relieved for Alphatrix on his attacks from Neo.
Yeah, and Verstappen, that undercut that he tried to do as well, that hasn't worked in his favour at all, as he is now 8 tenths behind Rocco. So in fact, he's lost time slightly rather than gained the time on Rocco, because I think it was about 5 tenths before he came into the pit lane. It's now 8 tenths of a second. Cohen and Campbell fighting out the lead of the race, running down and towards Stowe, not quite getting the move done. Spine, interestingly, is the last one on a set of softs. He won't be now, because he's now coming into the pit lane and slows the car down. Of course, it's 37 mile an hour coming into the pit lane, as opposed to 50 or even 60 mile an hour coming into the pit lane to Spine into the pits from what was 3rd position out on track. Dakar was looking quite close to the back of Gary coming across the line there, but Spine into the pit lane. I think he's going to be coming in and around Larkin sort of area on this exit of his pit stop. So we'll have a look, run on board and see as he puts on a set of medium compound of tyres. Alphatrix, Neil, that big train, as Neil sets the new fastest lap of the race with a 27.7. Verstappen goes quicker though, 27.5, and Spine is going to be out behind Larkin, exactly like what I said, and to be honest, it's the only prediction I think I've ever got right.
Well, meanwhile, there's a fight going on for 5th position at the moment.
Oh,
Gary trying to hold it around the outside at Luffield on Dakar. They're going side by side on exit, and what a move from Gary there. He moves ahead into 5th position. Dakar not really putting up much of a defence there against the Mercedes man, and now through Cox, he's just going to have to back, maybe try it into Stowe, but what a move from Gary there. Brilliant
stuff. We came on board with that a little bit late, which I apologise for, but Dakar on the back of Gary, and he's just losing a little bit of wear, I think, in those tyres as Gary runs out wide, gets caught in the grass. This is Dakar's opportunity now to come back at him, and look at the overtake, well, look at the overspeed. This is going to be job done in towards Stowe. Dakar pulls across to the left-hand side, defends the position, defends, and gets the move done, and he's through, and he's up into 5th position. Looking like a very good battle, this, though. Dakar, of course, a Division 2 commentator. Gary, Division 2 champion from last season. And there's going to be no love lost, I think, between these two.
And they're both pretty good friends from what I understand. And that was a great battle. They're going to have some words about that one. But they're not going to be strongly worded in a bad way, of course. They might have some exchanges of swear words, but we don't know. Montana setting the fastest lap. He is setting the pace at the moment. And then it goes to Rocco. I've really been impressed by him today, actually.
Rocco has attributed himself really well to this race. As I just flick through to the back of Montana, who's on the back of Neo, Rocco has really attributed himself well. He's gaining the time as well on Verstappen. He's just beginning to pull out of that DRS range now, Rocco on Verstappen. So it's looking ever more impressive, I think, from Rocco. He had a very good race, I think, early on in the season, where he was running in the top half of the field, then made a mistake, I think. I believe it was in Baku, if I'm not mistaken, or Canada, one of the two. Espinus through on Larkin, down the inside into Brooklands, gets the move done. He's up into 14th position, which will become, I think, a net P5 or P6. So Spine is through and he's up into 14th position for now. But out of this top 3, I'm really being impressed as well with Neo. Neo, currently in 9th position, net P2 out on track, staying there from the start. He's reclaiming his old form, I think, from pre-season, because he's really came into this race freshly minded in that Renault, and he's putting pressure, which I didn't think I would see, on Alphatrix.
Oh, a mistake from Alphatrix. He got onto the grass there, and that has opened the door for Neo just a little bit. So we could now see Neo making a move for the lead. As you said before, he really is regaining from pre-season. He loses the time that he gained from Alphatrix there, but I don't think he wants to rush the move, you know. I think there's plenty of time left in the Grand Prix. Why not just hang back in his DRS and then make a move when the time is right, when he least expects it?
Yellow flag in sector 3, I think it's Schiaparelli who was spun. Coming out the final corner, he's done a Matthias, he spun the car, and the Red Bull now round, and his rotten luck, in fact, goes from bad to even worse now for Schiaparelli, I'm afraid. And Bolin will go past him as well, I do believe, yeah. Bolin goes past, and he's through, and he's up into 17th. Not the greatest day at all from Schiaparelli, but you know, if these were fans, real-life fans, celebrating a German spinning, that would be fantastic, because the British crowd would be absolutely amazed, I think.
Although I'm pretty sure they don't like Sebastian Vettel for 2018 when they pretty much ended Lewis's streak. I believe he had multiple wins in a row, consecutive wins around at Britain, and it was snatched away by the Ferraris. So yeah, they wouldn't like the Germans too much, but hopefully that's not racist. And it's just because it's Vettel.
Yeah, to be honest, I think there's always been, certainly the Silverstone crowd, I know I've seen this on telly especially, there's always been a little bit of bad blood, I think, between the Brits and the Germans. And unfortunately for Schiaparelli in terms of this race, he would have been getting boos from the crowd with that spin, I can guarantee you that. But he should just focus his mind on trying to catch Bolin, not being critical at all of Schiaparelli, just trying to make a point about the crowd in real life. That's what I'm trying to say with that. But Schiaparelli has got fresher tyres compared to Bolin as well. Bolin, is he committed to the end on those tyres? 22 laps on a set of hards. That's going to be a real struggle. Schiaparelli speeds into the pit lane, and you know what? He retires in the pit lane, which is unfortunate. Don't think he would have had a chance of getting points anyways, so it's unfortunate for Schiaparelli, and again, his rotten luck continues, unfortunately, but I'm sure he will be back next week. He'll try and reclaim the form, I think, from early on in the season where he finished third.
Yeah, he's just not had the best of the season so far. That makes it 3 DNFs in a row for the German man, and unfortunately it was all self-inflicted. It was a spin on his own, and he's paid the price for that, sadly. It is now the second retirement, and now the medium runners fighting into the pits.
Yep, top 3 are in. Toxic! Oh my god, he needed to get that car stopped. Very close to actually overrunning into the pit lane and picking up a 5-second time penalty. But now, with these medium runners in, Gary is committed. I think Baki is also committed on a set of mediums as well. Baki is into the pit lane, actually. So Gary's the only one going a little bit longer into this race. Toxic then into the pit lane. Cohen and Campbell put on a set of soft compound of tyres, and now we have 2 entirely different races. Those guys on a set of mediums now are going to come up against a charging pack on a set of soft compound of tyres who will inevitably be lapping around a second and a half quicker as we get towards the end of this race. And to be honest, Cohen and Campbell and the likes are coming out in P10 behind Larkin. So that is now pretty much now the gap. Gary is in front, but let me give you an update on times in terms of the leaders. From Alphatrix all the way down to Dakar, 18 seconds separate what is 13 drivers.
Wow.
I think that's all that needs to be said, to be honest. Wow. Neo on the back of Alphatrix, and again, Alphatrix just looking a little bit stable out in front, just trying to keep that advantage at 0.3 of a second. Thank you everyone for tuning in, by the way, for Division 1. Myself, James Head, and Daniel Field taking you through this one. And Alphatrix leads here at his home Grand Prix. He's got a German in behind him in Neo, he's got a Swiss man in behind him in Montana, and then we've got a whole load of Brits in M. Short and Rocco, 5th and 6th, currently out on track as Gary, the Irishman, comes into the pit lane. And there's never been an Irish winner here in League of Europe Division 1, I don't think. And Gary, I don't think, is going to be repeating that here tonight, because he's into the pit lane and he will drop down like a stone through the field. But Alphatrix leads Neo 2nd, Montana 3rd.
Yeah, so now they're all made their pit stops, and this is going to be the running order to the end. Cohen and Campbell will be pressurising Larkin really soon. You can already see the difference in grip that Cohen has compared to Larkin. 6 laps on the medium so far. It's not the longest stint that anyone's done so far, but it isn't the shortest at the moment, as now DRS has been enabled for Cohen. He's got within the 1 second window that he needs. Looking like he won't make the move into Brooklands, but just right up to the back. He can see BWT getting larger as the corners go by.
Yeah, Cohen right on the back of Larkin as well. Set of softs and a set of mediums as Gary is through on D. Daniel. That is for 14th and 15th. In fact, they're side by side coming through Luffield. Seeing that on the mini-map now on a helicopter cam. D. Daniel tries to fight the position. Gary on a set of soft compound of tyres. Now tries to run around the outside. Surely not going to get the move done around the outside of Copson. In fact, D. Daniel just lets him on through. Gary gives him a slight weave. And he's through and he's up into 14th position, and Gary weaves to say thank you very much for that one. But now all the battles begin to happen further down the field. Here comes Cohen for a first move of the race down in towards Stowe pretty much, and now Cohen is through and he's up into 8th position. Got Campbell right on the back of Larkin as well. And now these soft runners are really going to go into play, and Campbell has contacted the back of Larkin coming into Vale & Club, and Toxic now can take full advantage in behind. Slight tap from the back from the Scotsman. The brick come into contact. Toxic sets the new fastest lap of the race as well. Game on here in Silverstone with 9 laps to go as Toxic nearly loses it coming out of Albion Farm.
That was quite a scary oversteering moment from him. I was riding on board with Toxic, trying to get a view of Campbell and Larkin, but now onto the Wellington straight. This could be an overtaking opportunity for Campbell. He's in the slipstream of the racing point. He pulls to the left hand side, the inside line for the corner, and he turns in a little bit earlier, and up the position he goes. 9th place for Campbell. Could Toxic take advantage of the overtake as well and get by Larkin, who seems to be falling down the order of the first of the medium runners, really to be picked up and swallowed up by the soft runner trio at the moment, and I don't think he's going to be the last though.
Really surprised actually that Toxic did not use up any overtake mode running down the old straight down in towards Cops, and he's right to the back of Larkin. Larkin taking a little bit of a shallow line coming through, and now Toxic can open up that overtake mode to try and close in on Larkin, but this DRS train runs and runs and runs, and he's not going to get the move done. However, Cohen has absolutely sailed on by in the foreground of shot. He is through on Spine, and he's up into 7th position. Cohen 3.3 seconds off the back of Verstappen. If he can make his way through in these final 8 laps of this race, Cohen might win this, you know.
Oh, well, it is one thing to catch, and it is a completely other thing to overtake. But he's made light work of Larkin.
Oh, sorry to cut in. Toxic down the inside of Larkin. Gets the move done into Village. Can he get the car stopped? He can. Toxic, brilliant move. That is Toxic at its fine and utter best. He is through, and he's up into 10th position. Larkin disposed of like a stone on a beach. Toxic through, and he's up to 10th.
Wow, what a move from Toxic there. He moves into 10th position and now into the top 10, 2 places up into the points, of course. As I learned a couple of weeks ago, it's actually the top 12 that gets points in League of Europe. So the more you know.
The more you know indeed. And yeah, Suku currently holding that final point scoring position. The set of medium runners are running in their own group still. Alphatrix leads, Neil second, Montana in third. We had word, by the way, from Schiaparelli. An overtake and a pit exit bump don't go well together. That is what cost him to spin. Unfortunate for Schiaparelli. I'm sure he is watching on now, and we wish you, of course, the best of luck next week. Campbell on the back of Spine, coming down into Stowe. The door shuts on Campbell. No way, says Spine, for coming through, and then down into Club. He's not going to get the move done, but Bolin picks up a 3-second sample. He's down there in 17th position out on track. Daniel trying to stick onto the back of Gary as well. We have got 8 more laps to go. Alphatrix does lead, Neo second, Montana in third. Toxic responds again, new fastest lap of the race. And, to be honest, he's in a very good spot here because Campbell, ex-Division 2 champion from Season 2, is right in front of him. And Toxic has been looking quicker in the second half of the race.
Yeah, he just posted in a new fastest lap, but the DRS train is starting to take shape, and that will make it difficult for him to get by. I'd more look towards Campbell getting past Spine than Toxic getting past Campbell, because the medium tyres are not going to be equal with the softs at the moment. They've still got a lot of life left in them, the Red Bull tyres, so expect them to be quick for a number of laps. Cohen is catching the leaders, but the DRS train that they're all stuck in right now is really not going to help him. But Rocco and Verstappen have actually dropped out of the DRS range of the top 4, which is interesting to see.
I think that's now purely because of the pace of the front 4 guys. Alphatrix, Neo, Montana and M Short. I am really impressed, by the way, how M Short is keeping on the back of Montana. He was brought up into Division 2 for this race here tonight, and he is doing an absolute amazing job, I've got to be honest. He is a TTML Division 2 driver, as I've already said, and if you've seen him in League of Europe, yes, he is a Division 2 driver here as well. Now into Division 1, I am really impressed by his attitude in this race, and I am sure they're hiding there in the background. The M Short fan club are here in force at the home Grand Prix.
You'd hope so, because he is putting a stellar.
Oh, Campbell's down the inside of Spine! Oh my goodness me, that was down into the loop section. Coming through turn 4, he had a go. He tried to get past, failed. Spine keeps the position for 8th position. Montana is on the back of Neo, coming into contention with the lap pressure tyres as well. But Campbell had a go, failed to get past, and Spine hangs on for one more lap at least.
Well, you fail every opportunity that you don't go for 100% at the time, so why not go for it if the opportunity is there? And he did go for it. Unfortunately, he couldn't find a way past, but he is definitely just, no, hi, I'm here, I want to get past, can you hurry up? As now, through Maggots and Beckett, I think through Stowe is where we might see an overtake.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
Position on through.
Montana's closing up on Neo. Neo also closing up on Alphatrix. I thought there was going to be a move there for Montana, but not quite.
I wonder when Neo is going to pull the trigger and start pushing to get by Alphatrix. But look at the ERS difference that Alphatrix and Neo have. 90% for Alphatrix, and then 25% for Neo, 30% for Montana. So I think Alphatrix not going to be too worried about it.
It's almost as if these guys are in a party and Alphatrix is just controlling this race. Oh, Montana nearly goes down the inside of Neo. Both of them former friends, of course. XL Neo and Montana. And Montana tried to go for the lunge. Similar to what we saw with Campbell on Spine last lap around. Montana did not get the move done. And that now puts him possibly under pressure from M Short. And M Short beginning to come into this race once again, and they pulled. These front four are just running in a pure DRS train. They're working together. It's like IndyCar for these guys. They're just pulling away from Rocco in 5th.
Yeah, and on his debut, M Short could take a podium in Division 1, a Division 1 debut, of course. I don't know the penalty situation at the moment. I can have a look at that if you want, or we can leave it a surprise. It's up to you.
Oh, I think we'll have a check through on the third last lap, I think. On lap 24, right. We'll have a check through of the penalties. Neo closes up onto the back of Alphatrix, but again, not close enough. And to be honest, he's looking a little bit sterilised, I think, out on track, to be honest, in terms of the gap, as Verstappen tries to close in on Rocco just in behind as well. Neo's just looking quite stable. Alphatrix is almost laughing, I think, at these guys. He's probably in that mentality. He's got 90% of ERS. Alphatrix could literally just say go, and he'd be like the Flying Scotsman pulling away from a station. He'll be absolutely gone in a matter of no time.
Oh yeah, with his ERS kind of backup that he has,
100%.
He doesn't have anything to worry about. He's almost at 100% around Silverstone.
Bolin 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit, and yeah, 90% of ERS is now. M Short goes around the outside of Montana. M Short around the outside of Montana, coming through Brooklands. Can he get the move done? He's on the inside and make contact. No. Montana tried to shut the door on M Short. I think M Short tried to come back at him up the inside. It's a pure racing incident, I think. Montana on that camera angle seemed to be closed the door. M Short was there. Montana had the car ahead. There's contact. M Short, to be honest, shouldn't have gone for that move. He should have backed off and then go down the straight. And now he's going to come under pressure from Campbell, who tries to go no way round the outside into Maggots and Beckett. They go side by side. It's going to end in tears. Locks Toxic around the outside, coming through Beckett as well. Oh, and it's in tears for Campbell. Campbell is into the wall. Toxic trying to go around the outside of him, and from literally absolutely no contact in the race, we've just gone 0 to 100 in the matter of minutes.
A complete domino effect there that all started with the contact between M Short and Montana, and it has unfortunately been at the expense of Campbell now, who's done nothing wrong at all. He wasn't even involved in the incident, and he's the one that came off worse. So unfortunate for him. But that is racing. I don't know if he's going to retire or maybe try and set a fastest lap.
Fastest lap.
Yeah, he's not got...
Yeah, knowing Campbell, I think he will go for fastest lap of the race. He will not retire from a race and will not give up. Bolin as well could have gave up, but he hasn't. He's also gone for a set of soft compound tyres and will try and go for the fastest lap of the race as well. They may as well. There's only 4 more laps to go. 3.5 if you're being picky. Alphatrix leads Neo in second, Montana in third. But Montana now is beginning to get into that rhythm. He's beginning to get into that groove. He's warning Neo that he is there and he is coming for him. As he approaches through Maggots and Beckett, he is putting the pressure on the German in front. But Alphatrix leads out on track. Neo second, Montana in third, and when we get through on the exit of Stowe here, we'll go on board with the penalties. So Alphatrix is through, Neo through, and Montana through. Verstappen closing up on the back of Rocco for fourth, not quite. But let's have a run through the penalties.
Right, so Alphatrix, not a single warning to his name. Same goes for Neo. What about Montana? He's got a warning, so no penalties for the top 3. Make that top 4. Rocco without a penalty. What about Verstappen? No penalties for him. They've kept it really clean around the circuit, actually. Cohen as well. Spine, nope, not for him either. What about M Short? No penalty for him. Oh, Toxic's got a couple penalties in this race. 2 penalties for the AlphaTauri driver. Larkin without a penalty. Suku, no penalty for him. Daka's got a penalty. Gary in 13th, no penalties. D. Daniel's got a penalty. Baki, no penalty. And Campbell has got 1 penalty. And then Bolin, last but not least, has got a couple penalties to his name, including 5 seconds.
Yeah, and he's just picked up another 3-second time penalty there as well. Montana is on the back of Neo. We are halfway through the end of lap 24. There's a spinner. Bolin is round through the final corner at Club. Not going to be enough to deploy a safety car this late on in the race. You must be kidding if it does. But Alphatrix leads Neo in second. Gary and Daka are having a right set 2 again. These two do not know when to quit out on track. We saw this in the first half of the race. We are seeing now another battle between Daka and Gary. And Gary, on slightly fresher tyres, is now going to come at Daka and maybe just laugh at him as he goes past. The Irishman trying to get the ERS down in towards 10%, tries to go around the outside. Daka back up the inside and spun on the curb slightly, and Gary is round and he's through and he's up to 12th. Daka down into 13th, and D. Daniel holds sway for 14th as well. Look at Verstappen on the back of Rocco, down in towards turn 1. Rocco's tyres have gone completely off the cliff. Look at the train now behind, because this is all expanding down to Toxic in 9th.
Oh wow, it really has come undone for Rocco at the moment. He is feeling the pressure from Verstappen, who will be in prime position to make a move, but watch out for Cohen. Still got pretty fresh soft tyres. They will be going off in the next couple of laps. At this point, I'd probably say that Rocco and Cohen's tyres are going to be around about even. Because they've not made huge inroads.
D. Daniel, sorry to cut in. D. Daniel's down the inside and towards Brooklands, now going around the outside into Luffield. This is on Daka, on a set of medium compound of tyres. D. Daniel tries to get the move done. Now on the inside line coming through Woodcup. We've got Verstappen and Rocco battling out as well. D. Daniel is slowly through down the inside of Cops. He has got the move done and he's through and he's up to 13th. Hangs Daka out to dry on the outside of the curve. And D. Daniel Fooney's up to 13. Brilliant battle. Alphatrix has pulled away 1.5 seconds. He's got no ERS once again on this approaching the final lap of the race. But now Alphatrix has just gunned it away from the rest of the field. He just sat there laughing at them, and now he's asserting his dominance.
His lap time was 1.1 seconds quicker than what he'd done on his previous best time.
Wow. That's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And that's why he's the champion from last season. That's all I'm really going to say on that. There's not much more that needs to be said. Alphatrix does lead, Neo second, Montana in third. Montana is getting close down into Brooklands, but he's not going to have a go. I think he'll have a go down the Hangar Straight as long as he saves up enough ERS to have a go. Verstappen in the meantime in fourth, and Rocco in fifth. And actually, in terms of the point standings, Alphatrix will take the lead of the championship here. He's only 5 points behind Montana. Montana in third needs to get the move done on Neo to limit his loss losses in the championship. So this is really important now, as Verstappen is on the back of Rocco as well, coming through Copse. But Alphatrix now laughing at the field, 0.8 of a second ahead. Montana, though, is gunning for it. He needs to get this move done on Neo. Now is the time. Now is the place for Montana. He's going to have to try this. Round the outside and towards Stone. Neo goes round the outside. Montana, can he get the move done? This is for second. Neo hangs him off to try. He will not give up without a fight, though. This is brilliant stuff. Montana down the inside into Vale. It's getting like Vettel and Verstappen, and Neo just about hangs on. Alphatrix around the final corner to win. Neo in second, Montana in third. Great ending to the race. Verstappen could nab fourth off Rocco through the final corner. Nearly a little bit. Oh my goodness me. Rocco finishes fourth. Verstappen had a 3-second time penalty, ends up down in eighth. Cohen, Spine, M. Short, it's 500th off Spine in the end, in sixth position. My goodness me, Verstappen eighth, Larkin ninth, Toxic in 10th in the end with all that penalty. Suku in 11th. Gary picks up the final points. Daniel Dacker, Baki, Campbell unfortunately in 16th, and Bolin in 17th. I think Campbell will get the fastest lap of the race as long as Bolin does not find 1300ths of a second on this lap time. Let's see. He's 2/10 off. I don't think he'll find the time coming through the final couple of corners. But now Campbell through the final corner, the Scotsman. This is for P16 out on track and crashes himself into the wall, destroys the car. I don't blame him, to be honest. He'll be angry after that. Bolin in 17th as well. He didn't really have the rub of the green from the outset and crossed the line. He did not get the fastest lap of the race. Daniel pops up in the top right-hand corner there, but Bolin takes 17th position. It's Alphatrix who takes the win. Driver of the day, very rare, Gary.
Well, how many positions did he make up at the end? That is what they base it on.
17th, I think he was. So 5 positions gained to 12th. That's my thinking. But yeah, Alphatrix takes the win here in Britain, and the British crowd will be very, very happy with that, as Alphatrix not only takes the win, he also takes the new. He's also returned to the championship lead after his grid penalties last week, I should say. Alphatrix wins. Have you ever seen a cleaner grid than that, apart from a couple of penalties? Alphatrix wins from from Neo in second, Montana in third. Top 3 remain as they are, with Rocco in fourth and Cohen in fifth. Spine in sixth from M. Short in seventh. Good debut apart from the contact that he had with Montana. He'll be very happy with that, I'm sure. Verstappen in eighth, Larkin in ninth, Toxic in 10th. Good points all for him after a couple of DNFs and a DNS. Suku in 11th, Gary in 12th. 18th on the grid went up to 12th, so Gary picks up 6 positions and the driver of the day. Larkin got more positions than him, though, and he didn't pick up driver of the day, so that's quite strange. Daniel down in 13th, didn't have a great race at all. Dacker in 14th, Baki in 15th. Campbell did take the fastest lap point, I do believe, as well for 16th. Bolin 17th, and the 2 DNFs, Schiaparelli and Matthias, unfortunately, from both 4th and 19th on the grid, respectively. But what an ending to that race. Alphatrix wins, but Neo and Montana, I don't think, honestly, Montana will be happy with that defence that Neo put up, because he forced him off track twice.
Yeah, it was a bit touch and go for them, but one thing that I did notice was that actually either he made a mistake or he had a genius move. Alphatrix actually backed off to give DRS to Neo. He had it on the hanger straight, which allowed for him to defend a little bit better against Montana, and that was probably what contributed to them going side by side for so long. But yeah, it was quite touch and go, as I said before, between those two, but still a great end to the race.
Yeah, Division 1 chat beginning to blow off, I think, with some of the comments that I'm seeing. Just like old times, I suppose. Dacker and Gary commenting on each other for their battle. Fantastic to watch. Montana saying he's going to have to re-watch that. He thought he left enough space to try and get the move done. And that was, of course, with Neo, I think, later on in the race. And I'm sure there'll be a little bit of controversy. And I'm sure there'll be stewards' reports to come towards the end of next week as well. But that is it. Over and done with here in Britain. Next time you do see us here in League of Europe, and now I'm going to have to get the calendar back up, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we go to Hungary. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, he beats me. I have no clue at the moment.
Let me have a check of the standings just to confirm where we are going for the calendar.
Hungary, yeah.
It is Hungary. Thank goodness for that. I could have said a completely different track there, but I didn't. So Hungary it is next week. What can we expect, actually, from the guys in Hungary?
Well, Hungary's not really an overtaking track. It is kind of dubbed as Monaco without walls, but I think that they will find a way to make an overtake, and I think we could see a really good race, as we've seen every single week, week in, week out from the Division 1 grid.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, I think, out on track to see how these guys really progress from Britain to Hungary. And I'll come to you for your final thoughts as well. Who was your driver of the day?
My driver of the day has got to be M. Short on his debut. He was really impressive today, and it is so unfortunate that he had the contact with Montana so close towards the end. He could have been on the podium. Unfortunately, his impatience got the better of him, and he probably could have backed off and avoided that entire collision. But if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you are no longer a racing driver. That's the late great Ayrton Senna that said that one. I think I've used that one in League of Europe Division 1 as well.
You have? I think you used it.
I should probably get new quotes.
I think you used it in your first commentary here, if I'm not mistaken, in Spain.
Oh.
But it's not too bad. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to have to give the driver of the day as well to M. Short. Really drove a fantastic race. Montana apologising, by the way, for the contact that he made, and commenting as well to M. Short that it was a great race from him. That's what we like to see here in League of Europe. We like to see good sportsmanship, great racing, and even better respect between the drivers out on track. And that is what really epitomises really why we come here week in, week out for Division 1, bring you all the action. It's because of these drivers, because honestly, these guys have grown week to week. Not the race of the season candidate that I was hoping for, but still a good race nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. It was still a great performance from all of their drivers today, so well done to them. I can't wait for next week.
Yeah, next week in Hungary is going to be fantastic, but if we have whetted your appetite even further, you can go and tune in with Dakar and Verstappen for Division 2 of League of Europe. That is going to be from 8 o'clock, and Division 5 will also be live. Ivor Bryn Mike is going to be taking you through that as well, so if you want more action from League of Europe, you are here tonight, really, in your nice, warm, cosy homes, because it's absolutely teeming down outside across the whole of the country. Stay indoors, watch some Formula 1, albeit virtually, and albeit with great commentary as well. But for myself and Dan, we will bid you farewell for tonight. Please keep safe out there. Make sure you wear your mask, you use your hand sanitizer, you keep to the guidelines, you keep to the rules, and you protect yourself and your family as well. Thank you so much for watching here for League of Europe Division 1, and until next week in Hungary, goodbye.